Okay.
All right, let's start at 10 again. Oh, God. That's why I was going to make like 10 of these, so I'm done with it. All right, Captain Ron here.
Corey Clark.
Hey, we're just going to talk to you about lenders today. I know a lot of new buyers or even out of state buyers, if you've bought before but you're moving to a different city or state, everybody says get pre-approved first. And yes, that is true. You need your pre-approval letter. But my opinion is call and find a local agent first. So wherever you're moving to, new buyer, or if you're even from that city or you're coming from a different state, find a local broker or real estate agent first. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to call the agent and you're going to ask, give me your top 3 lenders. And then you take those top 3 lenders, you call them and you figure out which one you like. Now, if you're not even sure about that agent's top 3, call around the different agents and find out their top 3 lenders. And if the same lending company, and even better, if the same lending agent pops up between those real estate agents or brokers, great. Then you can start researching on that lending company, but it means you have a really good local lender that's going to help you win offers, especially if you're having multiple bids. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, being in the game long enough that you start to learn who the lenders out there that are doing a lot of business and do well really can be the determining factor of whether or not you get the offer accepted, because being on the other end of that and receiving offers, and if you see different lenders that you've had experiences with in the past that just didn't do very well, whether it's not communicating, whether it's dropping the ball,
Closing on time.
Yeah, closing on time.
And there's some caveats to that. But
Yeah. Now, granted, the decision is always going to be on the buyer or the seller on who accepts what. It's our job as agents to instruct or coach the buyer or seller on what would be the best option to move forward. But ultimately, the decision is on the seller or the buyer.
But they will. The reason they hired us,
Right.
is they want our opinion. So they're definitely going to ask us as a listing agent, hey, have you heard of this lender between these 3 buyers? I can say, yes. I have no clue who this lender is. Online from Bob's Country Road. I really hope there's no lending company named Bob's Country Road. But that's the thing, is if you have a relationship with the 2 local lenders that you know can close every time, it's huge. Because then I can say, yes, I've even talked to this lender. They called me, they texted me personally, they vouched for the person. They said they have all their forms, documents. They can even close early because they're pre-certified, super deal, lending closed, whatever. That's great news. The other people, online people, no offense to online lenders, never heard of them. They probably will never even call me once your offer is submitted to go ahead and talk to me about your pre-approval letter and what's going on with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of companies, a lot of products out there that you can use as a lender, and unfortunately, not all of them are the same. So, I mean,
like real estate agents.
yeah, exactly. I mean, ultimately, that's not to say that you couldn't find somebody that we didn't recommend that's going to be fantastic. You absolutely could do that. It just
And we've used them before, and don't get me wrong, we'll never try to change you from a different lender. We'll recommend lenders still. I always recommend other lenders to compare rates, but 2 out-of-state lenders don't know the local laws, regulations, this and that, so there are issues as well when they're from different states, especially when it comes to rates. So you'll get some of these discount lenders, but then when you actually compare them and the local lender sits down with you physically, which is always nice, and shows you all the different numbers, it's huge. I've saved a few clients money that way as well.
Yeah, and some are very good at explaining, because it can be very confusing on the breakdown of your loan and where money's going. So like earnest money, a lot of people don't know if you're putting an earnest money deposit down, where does that go? What does it do?
Where does it go?
So the earnest money is, in a very basic explanation, is that it's going to be going applied to your loan. So, or the amount that you're supposed to bring to the table for closing costs, that is going to, the portion that you put in for your earnest money deposit is going to go towards that closing costs.
Yeah.
So, and that's just a very basic explanation.
And they can line it out how you want as well.
Yeah. And so a lender should be explaining these steps so that you fully understand where your money is going and how much money you're going to need to bring to the table, as well as the time that you have with that loan and the mortgage.
So the closing costs are huge because everybody says that as well. So you have earnest money. Where's the earnest money go? Towards purchase price, loan, all that stuff. But so it should be itemized and lined out, like Corey said. But also closing costs. You want to know at the end of the day when I'm buying this home, hey, your loan's approved, but I need to bring in 8,000, 10,000, 3,000. How much do I need to actually bring in to actually close on the loan for closing costs at the end of the day? One, to pay for your loan to the mortgage broker, and then two, for all the title fees, escrow, all those extra fees. You're not paying for ours. The listing agent, the seller, pays for our commission. So it's free to use an agent if you're buying. I think that's what a lot of people get confused about. But two, you're using our opinions, our advice, our knowledge. I mean, decade plus, quarter plus. I mean, it's huge with our knowledge. And so when you take that and then you apply it to it, you should be winning deals. You should be actually saving money. And so when it comes to actual closing costs, yes, that needs to be explained so you know actually how much it is with the lender.
Yeah, and just feeling confident that you know every step and where your money's going, because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money
It's a
involved
huge
in
deal.
buying.
Yeah.
And if you understand where your money's going, that can help make you feel at ease. And a lender should be explaining that so that you understand it. And I mean, I just had a lender that unfortunately didn't do that. And my client was not happy. When they found out what their closing costs were going to be, it was like, where am I supposed to come up with this money? It wasn't explained to me that I was going to be bringing, you know.
Okay.
So
See, there you go. And I didn't even know. So it happens all the time. So I think that main point of when you're first starting to buy, either moving out of state and you've bought before, no worries, great. But let us still recommend a lender. Now, if you don't want to use us real estate agents, ask some local friends here where you're moving to and just be like, hey, who'd you use for a lender? Who's on? And we still probably know them or worked with them or heard the name. I think the ones that you're just looking online and getting discounts drive me crazy, but to each their own, because you don't know what you're getting. And they'd never explain the numbers, and nothing's ever lined out. And at the end of the day, if we do get to close, it's kind of a nightmare and a headache. So I think that's one of my main point that I wanted to say today. And then also when you're using agents, it's the same thing. When you're calling to look for agents, you want to go through a whole list of interview questions. I'm starting to get more and more. I think that's a big tip everybody's using now. Is I had one that had 2 pages worth of questions. I was able to answer every single question with great detail, line everything out, show everything that's going on, because that's who we are. That's who you're hiring. So you want to know the numbers, years in history. What would you do in this situation? This situation? What do you recommend here and there? You're not going to always nail it right with every question, but at least you're going to be straightforward and honest and give your advice. And if they like you or not, and I think a lot is, can you work together? Because you're going to be recommending or giving your opinion on a lot of stuff that they need to take into recommendations of, hey, this is how I'm going to get you the top dollar. Not to make a quick sale and this and that. And if we sell it fast, great. It just means we prepped and we did everything right to price it and get it sold immediately for you. But we also want to get you the top dollar.
yeah, I mean, and not always is the fastest sell the best route. I mean, a lot of times, sure, sometimes we have timelines that we need to sell at a certain point, but honestly, if you have an agent that's like, I'm going to sell your house in the next week, well, I would ask that question of like, where are you cutting corners? Am I getting the most amount of money that I can for the home? So just because something sits for a little bit longer doesn't always necessarily mean that your agent's not doing their job. It just means they're trying to get you the most amount of money possible for your house.
Absolutely correct. And this market is up and down. Weekly, it's changing.
Yeah.
So I think the old strategy of pricing low, getting multiple bidding wars is still around, but I'm not a big fan of that right now. I want to go, what do we need? Where's your numbers? Here's where my spread is. I'm going to try higher. I think a lot of agents are doing that right now. And if we get it, great. If we don't, or we get a little bidding war, great. If we don't, then you do a price reduction. But it's always harder when you price it lower and hoping that bidding war and you don't get it, to try to ask for more money. There's no way. You can say, hey, actually, we're expecting a bidding war. We want an extra 50,000. Doesn't work that way. Yeah. So I think we're kind of going back to old school methods, which is kind of relatable to the market leveling off and going back to old school trends as well. And there's a little caveats here and there that agents are using to mitigate that and help. But you'll see right now there's a lot of high-end waterfront coming on here in Thurston County, Olympia. I think everybody's trying to cash out, move, do this or that. And I see the prices, and I think a lot of them are doing that old school pricing of let's price a lot higher and see what we get, and then we do price reductions.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely up and down every week. You got to keep an eye on it. But this last week has definitely been a flood of listings that I've noticed, and it's you just got to constantly keep track of it every week by week, because it's just like I said, this week has been, or last week was just a flood of listings, and I'm seeing it again this week already. So
it's good for buyers. So if you're looking to buy, call us first. Let us help you get pre-approved, send you the right lender letter. We'll send you a letter too if you want one. But call us. Let us get you pre-approved first. Let us get you set up by sending you the right lender, and then we have the best chance of winning with the best lender. And of course, we'll recommend 3 lenders and let you pick. I mean, that's kind of the best way to do it, I believe.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can make a big difference. And again, not every lender is the same. Some have little tweaks that they can do that may work better for you. So,
All right, that's it, Captain Ron.
Corey,
See you guys later.